O Lord, and shall glorify your name. For thou art great. Isn't that what senior pastor was saying a minute ago? And does wondrous things. Isn't that what the praise and worship team was singing about? Thou art God alone.
All by himself.
All by himself, Bishop. Thou art God. I feel the Spirit of the Lord in this place today. I feel revival in the house today. Is it all right if I preach like I'm in a revival today? I feel revival in the house today. Is it all right if I preach that way? A man who works as a messenger for a photo lab got a message on his pager instructing him to pick up a package from an unfamiliar company with a long, difficult name. He looked skyward and exclaimed, "Oh God, where am I supposed to go?" And just then, he got another page that said the exact name and address of where he was supposed to go. A nearby witness saw the whole thing and raised his hands and said, "God, why don't you answer me like that?" That sounds funny, but do you ever wish that prayer worked just like that? You pray and something miraculously and instantly happens. Your answer comes right at the second that you pray. Everybody does not get a text message from overseas saying that God has heard you right after the prayer. I wish I was in the right church today. It seems like it works for some people and it doesn't work for others. I tell you, I feel good in the house today. Have you ever met that person that just seemed like they have it all together? And I promise you, forgive me. I told you have to remind me when it's Youth Sunday. If you ask me to speak, amen, forgive me, Bishop, forgive me. I know this is not a Youth Sunday message, amen, but I couldn't get away from it, amen. So if you allow me back, I promise you next time I'll bring a Youth Sunday message, amen. But I'm going to break it down just to the point where they can understand as well. Have you ever met that person that seemed like they have it all together?
Come on, brother.
Usually they're good at something and they do it well. And not that everyone in here don't have that thing that they're good at, but they seem to excel and be noticed beyond everyone else. Usually they're talented and gifted in many things and seemingly able to do everything.
Amen.
They can speak well. They can articulate. They are talented. They have gifts. They're intellectually gifted, maybe musical and artistic, and even look good.
Come on, brother. Amen. Come on now.
Don't feel bad, because many of us aspire to be like someone else that we feel have qualities that are seemingly better than our own. But we have to remember that we are created in the image. We are created in the image and likeness of God, not just to look like, but to be. I wish I was in the right church. So I guess maybe I can ask this question. Do you realize what that means? Do you understand then, if we are created in his image and likeness, your own potential? Do you comprehend that God took time to craft man just so he could look the way man he wanted man to look? And he took time and breathed himself into man just so they can have the attributes, the part of him that I wish I had a church in the house that can go with me, that he wanted them to have. He took time to create the existing man the way he wanted man to exist. And when he created that man, we were flawless. We were perfect. We dwelt in a perfect place where we had no idea of work. We dwelt in a place where we had no idea of sweating and labor. We did not have to go out and hunt. We did not have to go out and punch a time clock, because everything was right at our disposal. And we were then, just as we are now, to subdue the earth. Amen. We have the power over everything in this earth because we were created in his image and his likeness. Touch your neighbor and say, I got victory and Jesus. So what is that image and likeness? Because the problem is we hear that all of the time. But we don't understand what it is to be like God. We don't understand that we have the same power on the inside that God came down and called nothing. We don't understand that we have the same power on the inside that Jesus says, silver, Paul says, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have rise up. And we don't understand, Bishop, that the same power that Jesus said, stop the funeral, rise up, young man, get up. We don't understand we have that same power. Touch the neighbor and say, I got victory in Jesus. So when we look at, and this will probably be our next Bible study topic when we're finished faith. When I look at the greatness of God, we must remember that we were created just as He intended us to be, in His likeness and in His image. And not only that, when we fell and we stepped out of His will, He made a way for us to come back into that creation of His likeness. The Bible says that Christ was nailed on the cross. Paul described it and said He became everything that we are so that we can become everything that He is. What are you saying, preacher? Christ stepped out of that majesty and deity for a minute and He put on a robe of corruptible flesh and He came down and suffered like corruptible man and He had to experience death like a common sinner. I wish I had a church to shout, yeah! But 3 days later, He rose with all power in His hand. I see why I had such a difficult time with this one. So when we understand, I'm going to begin to attempt to explain the deity. I'm not going to attempt and I'm not going to begin. I'm going to begin to attempt. I'm going to let that sink in for a little bit. To explain God and His greatness. Monotheism is the study of God. One God. Mono meaning one. We, as Christians, fall into the 3 major religions that believe in monotheistic, that believe in the monotheistic God. The 2 other religions is Judaism and Islamic. Yes, we believe in God. I'm a born-again believer. What do you believe? I believe that God is God of all. And He created everything that we see. But do you quite understand what you're saying when you say God is God of all? God is believed to be the supreme being and principal object of our faith. The concept of God is described by theologians. It can only be explained by talking about His attributes. That's the only way we can begin to understand God. You can talk about me and say I was born on March 5th, 1982 to the parents of Overseer Woodside and Bishop Bernard Woodside, and I grew up and probably say that I was in the church and I did such and such a thing, but to really get to know me, you have to understand the attributes that make me who I am. Yeah, you can talk about the car I drive. You can talk about the fact I live in Miramar. You can talk about the fact that I work at a hospital, but that's not who I am. I'm not Xavier, the car I drive. I'm not the shoes I wear. I'm not the clothes that I put on. I'm not even the job where I work. But if you talk about the person, maybe you'll find out that I'm a loving guy. I'm a caring person. The husband of one wife. Amen. I got one child and one on the way. That's who I am. I love the Lord and I serve him dearly. I wish I had a church that understood where I was going. So the only way we can begin to understand God is to examine his attributes. Now you understand why I say I will begin to attempt to explain God. Because we can study a whole lifetime. We can teach every day of our life. For hundreds of years, preachers could continue on where we left off and go, and for hundreds and thousands of years and never begin to touch who God really is. I wish I had a church right there. So I'll just begin to attempt with 3 or maybe 4 attributes of God. Some of the most common that kind of sums up bulks of his deity. Amen. The words come to mind: omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. This means that God, first of all, is omnipotent. All-powerful. Monotheistic theologians regards God as having the supreme power. This means God can do whatever he wants. It means that God is not limited by the laws of physics, where I have to stay on the ground because gravity keeps pulling me down. Jesus can ascend to heaven because he is. I wish I had a church right there. That's why Jesus came down to show us, after he had to raise from the dead, to show us that he's not limited by the laws of physics. The laws of physics say when I die, I stay in the grave. The laws of physics say once the body is dead, there's no resurrection for it. But God, let me tell you something. Those laws can be applied to you as long as you believe. Why? How do you know that? Because he raised Lazarus from the dead. He raised the widow's son from the dead. He raised the ruler's daughter from the dead. I wish I had a church in the house. So being omnipotent means that God have the power over land, air, and sea. Okay. All right, preacher, what are you saying? I'm saying that when you're in a sea of trouble, guess who has the power over it? To walk on that trouble. I wish I had a church to shout yeah right now. I can take a sermon on every one of those topics, Bishop. I'm just gonna summarize everything today. Maybe I'll come back at it another time. But this fact that God has all power. What did they say? What manner of man is this that can control the sea? The sea in all its rage and all its storm had to listen to him. Yeah, and that's only in the physical. Didn't Jesus go by the tomb where that demon-possessed man was? And nobody had the power to stop him. The Bible says they chained him in fetters, locked him away. But when the demons came, that was no match for. He broke them and went rampant, killing everyone that tried to come by him. But Jesus said not a word. He just stepped on the shore, and the demon recognized his power. They came running, Lord, and you're about to torment us before our time. He didn't argue with the demon. He didn't fight with the demon. He didn't say, oh, Lord, have mercy. Oh, he the service to go. So we'll talk about his omniscience. The word omniscience. First of all, omni means having the power of, and the nescience part of it means all-knowing. So he has all knowledge of everything past, present, and future. So what does that mean? That means that the Bible could have been written thousands of years ago to prophesy things that have not yet happened for another few thousand more years. Can I preach to you for a second? Can I stay right there for a minute? Because that tells me that nothing catches God by surprise. That tells me that everything I'm dealing with right now, God have already. He's not going to. He's not working on it. He has already made a way out of no way. Shout yeah! God knew just who would be sitting here today. And we say that so often, but we don't think about it, that he knows. I hear preachers say, oh, I don't prepare to preach because I just let the Lord have his way. Well, sad is your cry. Because if you're waiting on God to have his way on the pulpit, the Spirit is subject to your knowledge. The preachers don't like that, Bishop. But many times I'm up here preaching, even as I studied, and things come to me to say that I did not put in my notes. But if I cannot remember what the words are, that was just a side nugget for the preachers in the house. So God knows everything. He not only knows what circumstances you would be in, but he has all the answers. He not only knows what problem you will face tomorrow, but he knows the answer. He not only knows that your car would have broke down today, but he knew just when to get you there. Who knows? You may have been in an accident between the time you broke down and heading to church, and God protected you because he knew that you would have got caught up in it. He knew that if you had gotten in that accident, you would not have even made it to church for another 2-3 months. So he had a message for you today to let you know that in him is victory. I like the way senior pastor said, V-I-T-C-O-R-Y. Shout yeah! And see, I like the way God is. We describe him as a gentleman. The Holy Spirit is a gentleman. He doesn't come in and run roughshod and do whatever he wants. He is subject. The Bible says the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. It doesn't mean only those that prophesy. It means those that have the Spirit of God in them. Amen. He's not going to make you do something that you would not do of yourself, because then he would be taking away the very thing that makes us man, is our free will. Where did that come into play? That came into play because even though he knows all the answers, even though he has all the ways out, he knows who you should see about that situation, he knows where you should go about that circumstance. He sits there and lets you worry because you didn't put your trust in him. He sits there and lets you wonder because you didn't go seeking him. He sits there and lets you be concerned and cry and wet your pillow with your tears, knowing that he has the answers in his hands. I wish I had a church to shout glory right there. Because if he just drops the answer in your lap, there would be no need for faith. And without faith, it is impossible. Oh, you can't do it. It is impossible to please God.
Hallelujah. What an awesome God we serve.
What an awesome God we serve. This is only the beginning of an attempt. This is only the beginning of an attempt to explain the attributes of God. The next one on my list is his omnipresence. Now, I was baffled last season. For those of you who don't, me and Xavier and my wife and Cheryl, we like to watch The Flash. Okay, amen. Who said that? Oh, yes. I know it's the reason why I love you guys. I saw it. We like to watch The Flash. For those of you who watch The Flash, you remember last season when Savitar was the villain. Savitar turned out to be an evil version of the Flash from the future, who set out to splice himself through all of time. I'm going somewhere with this. He set himself because he was from the future. He knew everything that Barry Allen, the Flash of today, was going to do because he was Barry Allen from the future. Every trick, every scheme that Barry knew, he knew. He could travel through time, obviously, because he runs faster than the speed of light. And scientifically, they believe that if you can do that, you can really travel through time. And he was able to do miraculous things just because he had the speed to do it. But he was still limited. How do you know he was limited? Because he did not splice himself through space-time continuum. He was limited in his knowledge because the way that they tricked him is that Team Flash made a plan that they did not let the Flash know about. Yep. You remember? Those of you follow me. So because he didn't know, the future Flash didn't know. Okay, I think I got you now. And because the future Flash didn't know, he was able to be defeated because of his lack of knowledge.
All right now, preacher.
But God is not like that.
Come on.
God, even though he is not spliced through time, I said it before and I'll continue to say it because it's real. He stands outside of time. He created time for you and I. Time does not affect God. Time makes us older. Time makes us weaker. Time also has some good attributes. It makes us wiser. It makes us a little smarter. But with it, we come to the reality that time also ends our life. It's appointed unto man once to die. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3, there's a time to be born and a time to die. So time ultimately is the factor that ends man's life. Amen. But God, in his omniscient, omnipresence, amen, is able to stand outside of time. Look on yesterday, see today, and know tomorrow. I wish I had a church right there and able to step in your situation. What we say is right on time. Guess what? I dropped this revelation. Your situation was already stepped into by a God that was outside. The answer that you're waiting on was already set up by a God who was outside of time. The answer that you're waiting on God to work out was already worked out because God is the same God yesterday, today, and forever. I wish I had a church to shout, yeah! So we have to understand that God is not limited. space and time.
Amen.
He is not as big as the world. He is not as big as time. He does not hover over the universe and occupy space.
No, he doesn't.
God is. You're waiting on the rest of that, right? I remember a few years ago, I posted on Facebook, I want you to finish this saying. And I just put God is. And I want right now for you to get up and touch 5 people and finish that saying. Just go out to your neighbor and say, God is. And you fill in the blank. Because everybody's testimony is going to be different. What God did for me is not what God did for you. But we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. God is, God is, God is. God is, God is. God is, God is. I got one more message to go. But we got to understand that God is omnipotent. All powerful. He got power over everything. God is omnipresent. He's everywhere at once. He's in your circumstance. He's in mine. He's in your home. And he's in mine. He was in the school when they were shooting. And he was in the one that they wasn't shooting at. God is everywhere. He's omniscient. All-knowing. Everything. Every knowledge that can be known is already known by God. Oh, but I got one more hill to climb, because the Bible said that God, when he made a promise to Abraham, he said, I cannot find anyone greater to swear by. So, by my word and by myself, I swear that I will make you great. I will make your name great. You will be blessed going in and going out. Yeah! Yeah! Your name will be great. Yeah! High five somebody and say, God is immutable. Just shifted into overdrive right now. Because the Bible says that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That means he existed yesterday, today, and will exist eternally. That means he is the one with all power. So if God could deliver you yesterday, he can deliver you today. And if he deliver you today, he'll deliver your children tomorrow. I wish I had a church, because that word immutable literally is translated unable to mutate. You cannot change him. He cannot be conformed. He cannot grow old. He cannot get stronger. He cannot no more, because God is. Barry Allen, the fastest man alive. Superman, more powerful than the locomotives, can able to leap a tall buildings with a single bow. Wonder Woman, very strong, able to ward off bullets with a wristband. You got all the superheroes that we admire, but there is none. There is none. There is none. There is none like Jehovah. That's why if I serve a God like this, if I serve a God that knows all, sees all, is all, end all, he knows the end from the beginning. Got victory in Jesus. Did not fail. my weaknesses is I don't have a preacher's voice. So the body is weak, but the flesh is willing. And see, that's why it's difficult to understand that we serve a God without any limitations. Because we have been so programmed and so taught to believe that nothing can change. No one can break the law of gravity. Nothing can change. No one can do better than the next one. Nothing can change. That situation didn't work out for them, so it's not going to work out for you. Nothing can change. But when you look at the majesty of God, a God who stepped out into darkness and said, "Let there be," a God who formed the world, a God who took time to make it what he wanted it to be. This is the God that is in us. This is the God that we have. That's why the Bible says, "Greater is he that is in me." I wish I had a child of God who has the Spirit of God on the inside. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Sound. That's why our text comes from the 86th chapter of Psalms. David said this prayer because he was being chased by violent men, arrogant, proud men, he described. And the scholars and theologians are not entirely sure when the Psalms was written, when they ascribed it to David, because David had so much trouble. He had so much enemies. He had so much battles that he had to fight, that it was no wonder why he learned to call on the Lord. It was no wonder why he learned to rely on Jesus. It was no wonder why he learned to follow the Lord, his salvation. But I know that David was delivered because he turned around in the 91st Psalm and said, he that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall